So this is our Franklin Dictionary. So a few things to know about it. The way you open it would be pushing here, and the top opens. You have on the side, you have a headphone jack. On the other side, you have the volume control, and it just goes up and down. The on-off button is the orange button, so you would just press the on-off button. So it's going to say their name, it's going to say welcome, and then it's going to say enter a word. So the next thing that you would do is if they were reading a passage and they came to a word that they did not know, so they would enter the word into the blank space here. So if the word were happy,
type a word and press enter.
It does get impatient if they do not enter a word quickly. So they would enter H,
A, P, P, Y.
And then they would hit speak if they want to know what the word is.
Happy.
It will tell them the word. If they do not know what the word means, then they would press the enter button. It will come up with the definition. Now they may not be able to read the definition, so they can hit speak again.
Happy, fully, satisfied, filled with joy. Adjective. Happily. Adverb. Happiness. Noun. Happy-go-lucky, without worries. Adjective.
So it will give the definition, it will give what type of word it is. It will sometimes give examples of other ways it can be used, like happily, happiness. If they are finished with that, they would hit clear so that they can go on to the next word that they do not know. If they're typing in a word
A, P, P, P.
and they make a mistake, they could hit back and it will go back, or they can just hit clear and start over. The next thing that it can help them do is when spelling. So if they're writing a story and they need to know how to spell a word, they would sound it out and spell it the best they possibly could. So if they're writing a story about fall and they want to use the word leaves, they may not know how to spell it, but they may be able to sound out L, E, V,
S.
And then they would hit enter, and it's going to tell them it's checking its spelling. It's going to tell them they made a mistake. And then it's going to give them some choices of what they might have meant. This one, luckily, is the first word. They will hit speak.
Leaves.
So they know that that's the word they're looking for, and then they would just copy it down onto their writing. They also, if that's not the first word that comes up, they can hit the down arrow. And it will give them more choices of what the computer thought they might be trying to spell. And they would just hit speak for each one
Loves.
to know that that's not the one that they meant. So then they would hit clear. Another example they may not get close to and maybe use the word rake.
R, A, C.
Maybe they might use RAC. Would hit enter. It's going to check their spelling. Tell them that they have a mistake. So the first one here,
Rack.
not the word they meant it to be, but if they scroll down, the next one is.
Rake.
So it's not always the first one that comes up is the one that is correct. It depends on how close they get to the correct spelling. They may be completely off, and it may not give them a choice, such as this word.
P, N, S, L.
For the word pencil, they may sound it out, and this may be what they get without any vowels. If they hit enter, tells them they made a mistake. And notice the things that it comes up with. Not anywhere close to the word they were wanting. None of these words are going to be it. They did not get close enough that the computer recognized
No more.
what they wanted. So what I tell them to do is to clear and to try sounding it out one more time to see if they can maybe get closer. If it still does not give them the word they're looking for, then I ask them to ask the teacher how to spell that word. If they get close enough, it will usually recognize what they're trying to spell. So if they tried it again,
I.
this time they got the I in there.
S. L.
Still not the right spelling, but they got a little bit closer because they've got a vowel in there. It will check for their spelling. Sometimes it takes a little bit. We'll tell them they're wrong, and here's their word.
Pencil.
So they got close enough that time that it was able to recognize what they were wanting to spell. So they would clear that. So that's how you would use it for looking up a word. Definition, what the word is, using the speak button, and then being able to spell words. Those are the most important things that the Franklin Dictionary can do for them. And there are some other things that our Franklin Dictionary provides for them. So the first button here is the ABC button. This is handwriting. So if they can't remember how to write a lowercase d, they would type it in, they can hit the button, and it will actually show them how to draw it. If they hit it again, it shows them how to do it in cursive handwriting, which we learn in our class. We would hit clear. The next button is the rhyme button. So say they're working on poems, and they need a word that rhymes with another word. So let's say the word's cat, and they're trying to find a word that rhymes with that. They could enter the word and then hit rhyme.
Rhyme for your word.
It'll come up with a list of words that rhymes with the word cat. And they would just scroll down and hit speak.
Bat. Brat. Shat.
So it gives them all different kinds of words that they could use in their poem that would rhyme with the word they need. Then they would hit clear. The next one is games. My rule with games is they're not allowed to play them at school unless their teacher has given them permission. I want to show you today some ways that they can use them in your classroom. So you would press games. The first one that comes up here is Tic-Tac-Toe. Not educational, they'll never use this one in your classroom. If they're playing it, you should make sure that they know they're not supposed to. I tell them this in class when I give them their Franklin Dictionary, so they know better. There's also a two-player tic-tac-toe. Again, not something they should play in your classroom. Here's their skill level, easy or hard, and they would just push the arrow over to the easy. They would want to start here, and as they get better, they can move it over to the hard. Game words. All means all words inside of this dictionary. Your list, and I'm going to show you how to do this, but they can actually enter a list of words. Maybe it's their spelling words for the week or their word wall words, and they can use those words within their games to help them learn how to spell them in a fun way. So one is Hangman. Everybody knows how to play that. Jumble, so it's going to jumble up the letters in a different order, and they are going to have to unscramble it. Flashcards is basically just flashcards. That's going to show them a word for them to say and move on to the next one. Guess that word is going to give them clues about the word, and then they would try to guess which word it is. And then we're back to tic-tac-toe. So those are the list of games that they could possibly play. The word games they could do during Daily 5, during a word station, to help them be able to practice their word wall words or spelling words for that week. Okay, so we're going to go then to list. When we hit list, we have see your words. So they would hit enter if they want to see the words. Here they have two words already in here, and it's actually names. So they can enter somebody's name if they need to know how to spell it. Go back to list. Go down on the arrow, and here's where we would add a word. So if we need to know how to spell a word, and we want to remember it, or you're trying to enter your word wall words or spelling words for the week, you would hit add a word. So let's say their word was when.
W-H-E-N.
Then they would hit
I
enter.
added your word.
And it adds their word to the list. So now they can go back to games and choose to play with their list, and it will only use the words in their list for the games. This can be cleared out every week and added new words, or it can add to the words from the week before. So they have a continuing list. The only bad thing is that if the batteries go out, their word list is erased as well. Here's where we would erase a word. So if there's a specific word you want to erase, they would hit enter and go to that word that they want to erase.
I took your word out.
And it will take their word out of the list. Okay. You can erase your whole list. Here's where they enter their name. It's just a fun way for, it'll say hello Nathan or whatever their name is as they turn on their Franklin Dictionary. So they would just enter their name here. Here's the handwriting speed, slow and fast. They can choose, just the arrows will move it from one to the other. I tell them to use it on slow so that they can see each stroke of the letter. And then they want the sound to be on. And they want their keyboard sound to be on as well, so that they know if they hit the wrong, if they're trying to hit D and it says F, then they know they hit the wrong one and they can hit back to go back. See Me Work is just it gives examples of how the electronic dictionary works. Not something that they'll use maybe ever, definitely not on a daily basis, but it is there if they want to see how the Franklin Dictionary works. And we're back to the beginning of See Your Words. The last button is Help. Help again is just, how do I use this? How do I enter a word? Things like that, which they all know how to do, but it's there for them to help them if they happen to forget. And that is pretty much everything that the Franklin Dictionary can do. There is a higher Franklin Dictionary, higher level, that we will be getting for our 5th graders. And once that comes out, we'll do another video to show you how that one works.